Namaskar. Bhagwan Buddha has been and is not only the light of Asia, he has been and is actually the light of the world. The whole world has been profoundly influenced by his message of non-violence and compassion. It is true that the ideas of non-violence and compassion were present in earlier traditions also before Buddha, and also in various systems of Indian philosophy. But Buddha displayed their applicability and practicability in actual life to inculcate spirituality. Buddhism became a world religion because the world needed Buddha's message. In the present world, ridden with a plethora of problems and conflicts created by the onslaught of technology and artificial intelligence, Buddha's message comes as a relief and release from the tensions to once again inculcate the experience of spirituality. I hope you all agree with me that the problems of the present day world could be solved by understanding and following the universal message of Bhagwan Buddha. The Chaturdharmodhana, or the four cardinal principles of Bauddha Darshana, form the core of the teachings of Buddha. And these principles are very well known. Sarvesham samskaranam anityata, that is the first principle, that is all composed things are impermanent. Sarvesham sasravanam dharmanam dukkhata, all contaminated things are misery. Sarvesham dharmanam anatmata, all existing things are void of soul. Nirvanasya shantata, peace lies in nirvana. These four principles or views are repeatedly mentioned in Tripitaka text. They are also known as Buddha Vachanas, or sayings of Buddha. A number of different terms for these four principles are employed by later commentators and Buddhist philosophers for these Chaturdharmodhanas, such as Chaturdharma Sutras, Chaturdharma Mudras, Chaturdharma Samuchaya, etc. These four principles resulted from the search of truth, and they changed the entire concept of causality, karya karana, bhav. The concept of transitory nature of things leads to the idea of interdependent origination, that is pratitya samutpada, which is the core of Buddhist philosophy. We can understand the idea of interdependent origination or pratitya samutpada correctly if we can understand the nature of transitoriness of all phenomena, that is anicca. If we understand the theory of interdependent origination correctly, we can understand that there is no I or independent individual self. Belief in an independent individual self leads us to an attachment for it. It becomes the cause of misery. We believe that there is an inner self who is the user, consumer, that also is considered, and also it is considered to be permanent. These two misconceptions generate desire, that is trishna or tanha, and this trishna is the root cause of all misery. In this way, these four cardinal principles become very important. Teaching of Four Noble Truths also wheels around these four cardinal principles. The concepts of Shila, Samadhi, and Pragya are also about four cardinal principles. The entire teachings of Buddha, the Buddha Vachanas, they are all originating from these four cardinal principles. The cause of production is the cause of decay. This is the idea underlying the theory of interdependent origination, pratitya samutpada. This is a revolutionary idea which frees us from bondage. By a clear understanding of this idea, we can reach from time to timelessness. Samdong Rinpoche, and I am privileged to have been associated with Samdong Rinpoche for very brief occasions. He gives an easy example to explain the whole complexity of the concept of pratitya samutpada or interdependent origination. A month in Christian calendar, whether it is of 30 days or 31 days, begins from the first day. The first day is the cause of the beginning of the month. It is also the cause of its decay, because it reduces the month by 1 day. The beginning and the end are simultaneous. The moment of cause of the beginning is also the moment of the cause of its decay. An effect is produced by a cause, and the effect subsequently functions as the cause for another effect, making a chain of causality. This leads to the philosophy of Shunyavada. The second cardinal principle is dukkha, or misery. The cause of misery is to be eradicated, and nirvana is to be achieved. Four noble truths are instructions to understand the real nature of misery, or dukkha. There are many feelings which we consider to be pleasure, but they go into more pain and more unhappiness. The end of pleasure is pain. All miseries are causality created and interdependently origination. Therefore, it is possible to eradicate them. With this conceptual framework, Buddha built up a strategy to enter into dialogue with his contemporary world, and he is still relevant because he can enter into dialogue with us even today. And by following Buddha's message and Buddha Vachanas, many of the conflicts of present day society in our time can be resolved. I would like to say a few things about Buddha's dialogic strategies and how he created a methodology for correspondence with his fellow man. The Tripitakas inform us that after attaining enlightenment, Buddha could not immediately make up his mind in favor of delivering his message to the world. He was a bit hesitant. He doubted whether his fellow men would understand the significance of the truth which he had discovered for himself. Finally, when he made a decision in favor of sharing his insights, when he had already developed a method for entering into dialogue with his disciples, Buddha taught his disciples in accordance with their intellectual capacity, aptitude, and orientation. He did not maintain a consistent level in his teachings. He candidly accepted the existence of inconsistency in his teachings. Even Gandhi accepted that there are contradictions, but what he says later on should be acceptable if there is a contradiction. In the same way, in Buddha's teachings, the contradictions can be resolved. Buddha guided how to differentiate nihitartha and neyartha, that is the intended meaning and implicit meaning. In Sandhi Nirmochana Sutra, he tells how to differentiate nihitartha and neyartha. And in this way, Buddha created a dialectical method for discourse. He developed a unique method of resolving contradictions. It seems that he was often criticized for accepting opposite standpoints. He himself is reported to have remarked that he has propounded the doctrines which are ekanshikas, that is one-sided, and also the doctrines which are anekanshikas, many-sided. B.K. Matilal says that the word anekanshika was probably another name for anekanta, and Buddha's method of anekanta could be taken to be a precursor of Jaina anekanta doctrine. Matilal, quote unquote. In Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 99, Buddha proclaimed that he is not ekanta vadin, he is a vibhajya vadin. Through vibhajyavada, Buddha presented his own analytical method. Vibhajyavada consisted of division, classification, qualified negations, and qualified affirmation. The analysis is to be made by the way of questioning each part of a theory to be discussed, with the acceptance of or rejection of each one on a fair ground. Vasubandhu defines a Vibhajyavadin in the following terms. Those who say that everything exists, past, present, and future, are Sarvastivadins. Vibhajyavadins, on the other hand, say that only certain things exist, the present karma as well as past karma, which has not fructified, they exist. The future karma as well as past karma, which has already fructified, does not exist. By his analytical method, Buddha classified all the philosophical questions into four categories. Ekansh Vyakaraniya, that is answerable by affirmative or negative terms. Vibhajyavadena Vyakaraniya, that is answerable by division and analysis. Pratiprashnena Vyakaraniya, that is answerable by putting counter questions. And Sthapaniya, to be answered by silence or to be set aside. This was in accordance with his philosophy of avoiding extremes. Madhyama Pratipad or Madhyam Marga. There can be two aspects emerging out of any theory, and they may form two extremes. Avoidance of these two extremes is Madhyama Pratipad. Buddha followed the middle path by rejecting the two extremes. The theory of Anekanta also, in the theory of Anekanta also, middle path is accepted, albeit with acceptance of two other extremes as well. Matilala explains Buddha's way as exclusive middle and Anekanta theory as inclusive middle. Accepting the view of Dalsukhbhai Malvania that the practice of Vibhajyavada in later Shramanic traditions culminated into the theory of Anekanta, Matilal further suggests that the moral doctrine of ahimsa or non-violence was partly responsible for development of Anekanta attitude in Jaina philosophy. The practice of Vibhajyavada adopted by Buddha provided the framework for Anekanta, the theory of one-sided, the framework for Anekanta, the theory of non-one-sidedness, or the theory of many-sidedness of reality. The way Buddha applied the technique of Vibhajyavada in his discourse led to the development of Anekantavada. He not only presented an alternative worldview, he also encouraged arguments and discussions. Before his enlightenment, he had met a number of philosophers and thinkers of his times. His quest for enlightenment has been termed as Ariya Pariyeshana, the noble quest in Pali canons. During his restless wandering and search for knowledge, he met many philosophers whose names we find in his biography and his dialogue with Bimbisara also. Rather than launching a movement for protest, Buddha kept open all the doors for debate and discussion. It was because of the dialogic nature of his discourses, the correspondence between Vedic philosophies and Buddhism were accepted, and Buddha was accepted as one of the 10 incarnations of Vishnu. In fact, Buddha did not launch any rebellion against the prevalent sects, sampradayas, or religions. A rebel would not consider an established viewpoint he is refuting at par with his own views. In all fairness, Buddha limited all his debates to a fair criticism without being hostile or destructive, never to cause any violence. Buddha and his followers developed a specific method of indulging in katha, that is discussion. It has been termed as Paripuchha Kaha, Pratipuchha Katha, or Patipuchha Kaha, delivering a discourse by the way of asking questions. In the Nandakavada Sutta of Majjhim Nikaya, Nandaka exemplifies this method of Katha. In the same way, Anumana Sutta and Upali Sutta in the same scripture present the concept of inference and Vada in the sense of controversy. The debating skills of the monks like Vesatta and Bharadwaja are also described in Pitkas or Buddhist scriptures, but Buddha decries or condemns debate for the sake of debate. And the genre of Dhamma Katha, discussion on Dhamma, was cultivated and practiced with the advent of Buddhism. The basic tenets of the theory of Katha were also evolved with Buddha's discourse on Dhamma. Katha Vattu in Abhidhamma Pitaka, which was mentions Anuyog inquiry, Udaharana illustration, Patinya proposition, Upanayana application of reason, and Nigama conclusion, and Nigga capture or defeat as various techniques of Katha. And Buddha accepts some of these techniques to create a meaningful communication, meaningful dialogue with the Sangha. Finally, he laid down the causes for Sangha Bheda or split. They are very much relevant for today's world. There are so many problems and so many differences and divisions in the society. So the differences and divisions arise, and how to avoid logically these differences and divisions, and how to create harmony in a logistic way. Buddha could perceive the causes leading to division in the society, to the splits in the society or Sangha. And that way, Buddha's message is very much relevant for the today's world, ridden with so many problems. Thank you very much.